Hi, I'm Dom and I would like to welcome you to my YouTube channel and this gear review. It's nice that you're here. I'm new here on YouTube and would really appreciate your support if you like the video. You can do that totally for free by subscribing, commenting, liking and sharing the video to your friends or anyone who might also be interested in learning more about the new LowePro Photo Sport Outdoor Backpack BP 24LAW3. And that is something we have to change in the course of the video because I won't say that all the time. Anyways, before we get started, I would like to inform you that I have bought a backpack with my own money for my own use. This video is not sponsored in any way, not part of any marketing campaign. It's not endorsed or otherwise influenced by LowePro. LowePro don't even know I'm making this video. I was lucky to get one of the first that were shipped, so I decided to make a review for everyone else interested. I'm sure there are a couple of you out there. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. After watching the video, you'll know whether the new Photo Sport BP 24LAW3 is any good and worth the money as your first multifunction outdoor camera backpack, or worth the upgrade from the Photo Sport BP 300AW2, to which I will be comparing it to, because that's the backpack I primarily used for the last 4.5 to 5 years. I right now can't really remember how long I have it. And even if you don't own the BP 300AW2 or are even interested in it now that it's got a bit cheaper, with the new model out, you'll get all the relevant information and the difference between both, so stay tuned until the end. When I got the BP 300AW3, it was promoted as a sporty backpack for if you wanted to do your trail runs and still carry your DSLR with you. Well, let's say that's not something I do, but it was the only backpack I found that offered a camera compartment and a normal backpack. I use LowePro bags since 20 years and none has ever failed me, so I didn't think much and bought it. I was very happy with it ever after, however, when I read that they come out with a new version, I was totally hyped. So if that was justified in any way, we're going to find out now. I've got the BP 24LAW3, let's just call it the new one for this video, otherwise we're all going crazy hearing these letters until the end. In blue this time, as the 300AW2, probably call it the old one here then, was having these bright orange straps. I don't mind a bit of color, however, those really shine out and are actually quite a bit more vibrant than they look on the product photos. Otherwise they're rather comparable in size, weight, overall design, look and feel, however there were a lot of detailed changes, and let's find out if they are any good. So let's start from the top. First thing I noticed is that they made the top handle quite a bit thicker on the new backpack. It has a lot of better feeling now and feels a lot more sturdy and nice to touch. Not that the handle on the old one would have been flimsy or feeling like it rips off soon, however, when I packed my old one to the top for a trip, I kind of cut it in my fingers a bit. It was just thinner. It was just a detail and no big deal whatsoever, but it's a nice change in my opinion. Going further down a little bit, you'll see that they now have a different kind of ventilation system for the bag. There's no sort of net fabric over differently designed air channels and support structures. It looks quite different to the old model. Out of experience traveling in rather hot countries and doing long walks with it, the old one was not as bad as other backpacks I had before, but it was also not very good either. If the new system works better, I cannot really tell just now due to the lack of experience, however I'm optimistic it will at least not be worse with that design. Today I did a little walk and it was rather muggy outside but not really hot. Still I had a sweaty back, but I guess that's what you get wearing a backpack anyway. I've used dozens of non-photo backpacks in my life and haven't found one that wouldn't make your back sweaty anyway, so... Now to the shoulder straps. These were a bit of a thing I did not like very much on the BP 300AW2, right, the old one, as they have some padding but are overall rather thin. The new design looks and feels a bit thicker padded, but to be fair, I carried the old one quite a long way with some weight also over the years, so maybe it got a bit thinner over time. So I go neutral here, however I like the netting structure they use here now as well. Also I should mention the straps are formed more ergonomically. If that makes much of a difference, I'm not sure. Can't say I was bothered by the old ergonomics and I found the new design is very comfortable to carry. One thing I don't like too much is the new press strap attachment. I didn't like the old one either, so now it's different, but it's not better in my opinion. On the old design it was attached using the orange straps and a sliding plastic clip on it, which worked okay, but had two big disadvantages for me. First, it just slides down over time, either by itself or by somehow pulling on it. So there's no fixed spot you have it in, it's constantly moving around. Well, I say constantly, but I mean every other hour walking I had to pull it back where it was most comfortable for me. And the issue too I had with them is that I couldn't really attach anything on there. I often walk with my GPS device, especially when going off-grid or just to track my route. With this vertical strap there's no chance to attach the GPS device to that strip, so I had to have it on the shrinking system strap way up the shoulder strap, which then again made it difficult to use as it was so high up. The new design now has some sort of suit-on attachment with a C-shaped plastic grip catching around it, and a lock for keeping it locked. On a 2.5 hour walk today, they came loose twice. Not too impressed about that. When they're open it still moves rather easily, so it has its position on the strap for the first walk. That might become an issue when it's getting a bit older though, but time will tell. And there's still no chance to attach my GPS device here either. At least not down there. I can attach it on more or less the same spot it was before. So another point I'd like to mention is the closing clip of the press strap, which was some kind of fancy push on the back kind of clip that didn't really like to be opened with one hand, let alone with gloves in the winter. Now it's just a normal plastic clip you press on both sides to open. This as well is a small but kind of major thing for me. It has still the elastic strain relief the old one had as well, that makes it a little bit more comfortable when you're moving a lot. Further down we have the waist belt that looks rather familiar on both backpacks. On the new design they also use this netted style fabric there on the body side, the inside so to say, but other than that both look and feel rather familiar. The belt strap however is now around 40% wider, which should make it more comfortable. That being said, I don't really had any issues with the old one whatsoever, so it's nice but nothing more to me personally. Your mileage may vary. There's still a pocket in the right hand waist belt that just barely fits an iPhone 12 for size comparison. The left side offers stitched loops similar to the military MOLLE system, but it's not compatible. The loops are around 70% wider, which fits the detachable camera bag. What a surprise. The old one has another pocket there. That's up to you which one you prefer. Another bit further down the back there's a small detail I noticed, and that's a drain for the water bladder compartment. At least I think it is. Both of the backpacks can hold a 2-liter water bladder and drinking system. However, the new design now has this small drain hole in case the bladder starts leaking. That would probably still not be great, but at least it isn't standing inside the compartment until you notice and probably soak everything inside the backpack until then. Again, that's not something I personally care about. I'm not a big fan of water bladders and never used them. However, it's a nice feature and shows the level of thought that goes in LowePro's designs. While we are at the lower back already, let's go further down. Both backpacks come with a rain cover. I used mine on the old one numerous times and it did what it's supposed to do, and I have no reason to assume that's different now. It's bright and orange now compared to the gray the old one had, and you can detach it, in contrary to the old design. You can rate it as you like, I'm rather neutral on that point. However, the rain cover pocket was now moved to the front of the backpack. On the old design it was stowed in the bottom. I assume they did that so that nothing pokes through it when you put your backpack on the ground, as this kind of outdoor backpack just gets put everywhere, right? I've done it and nothing ever happened to it, but I assume that's the point of change. I appreciate the thought, however. On the other hand, now there's a tiny bit less protection and padding that the rain cover offered when being stowed in its pocket in the bottom. But I like both approaches. I personally wouldn't say either one is better than the other, so that gives me a neutral rating for that as well. Moving up now, we see some loops that look basically exactly the same on both backpacks, other than the color for sure. They're to secure your walking sticks or tripods or monopods or umbrellas or whatever you want to put in there. You'll note that the new design, they're sewed together in the middle, which makes the loop a little bit thinner. Still works for whatever I attach there, so I really don't care either way. Further up there's a major change, however. The new design now offers Velcro strips on each side, so you can actually secure something on the backpack. The old design didn't have that, so I put the top of my tripod always through the strap of the outer front pocket, which worked as well. However, the Velcro straps will most certainly have a lot more positive grips. Besides, I can still use the strap on the front pocket additionally. And I probably will. That just secures your tripod a little bit better on your backpack, and it doesn't flip around as much. And while we're here, there were some changes made to the front pocket as well. It now has a small plastic bar on top to hold it open, which really drove me crazy with the old one. There tends to not move out of the way when you want to stuff a jacket in there, so this always was a two-hand operation. Now with this little plastic bar, it's definitely holding up a lot better. Aside from that, the sides of the pocket changed as well. They now have a very thin netting that's slightly elastic, which means it gives more space than the old design did, and probably does a bit of venting additionally, which definitely is a nice thing to have. However, it feels the front pocket in the new design is slightly smaller. Now let's finally look at the business end of the bags, the camera compartment. This is probably where the greatest difference between both backpacks is. From the outside, I immediately noticed that LowePro have removed the strap that was over the zipper flap, if that makes sense. I never got why they made it in the first place. Maybe so people wouldn't steal your camera in a crowded place, but I always found that strap super annoying and left it open most of the time. If I really feel I need to secure my compartment for random theft, which really never happened to me, I'll just put a cable tie or a small lock around the zipper and be good. If I'm anxious about someone stealing my camera out of a closed backpack pocket, I wouldn't run around with it in my hands anyways. Now that that's out of the way, pun intended, the major difference is now that the camera compartment can be taken out and used as a camera bag. It's also Velcro fabric all over the inside, unlike the old design that had just a sewed-in strap in the middle, which limited flexibility a bit. The detachable bag also allows the backpack to be a full-size backpack, as you can remove the divider inside, to which I will come soon, as well as being able to quickly just take your camera and not a whole backpack with everything that might be inside. In some of my road trips, I mostly took the backpack even for short 15-20 minute walks to a place I wanted to take pictures at, because I wouldn't want to carry my camera just in my hands, and also wouldn't want to carry any additional camera bags and switch them back and forth all the time. So that's really amazing. It not only gives you the option to quickly just take the camera bag out, but also to have the full size of the backpack for anything else in case it's necessary to carry a bit more luggage. I always used my old backpack as hand luggage on any flight due to it being able to hold all my camera gear, laptop and stuff I needed at hand, like a Kindle, noise cancelling headphones, a pullover and stuff like that. And that all security. I quickly figured out what and what not I could take due to the space limitation, so using just a photo sport for a 2-day camping trip, for example, was not really possible. Well, at least for me. I know there are some hardcore ultra low weight guys out there, but I'm none of those. Now, being able to take out a camera compartment completely and use the full backpack will be a game changer for me and simplify shorter trips a lot. When you take it out, which you can easily do with the well-sized loop they attached, it feels rather sturdy and nice. I would trust it to hold my camera for a walk for sure. Also, you can zip it open completely. I'm not sure if that's a feature I really need, but I guess if you use it for a drone, it comes in handy to access all your bits and pieces in second space. There's also a little Velcro strap going over the case so you don't pull it completely open accidentally. That's really well thought through. I'm no designer or engineer, however I can appreciate a great design decision, and that absolutely is one. It makes this whole detachable bag actually practically usable. So that being said, LowePro ships the BP24L with multiple straps and ways to attach the camera bag and this little pocket that holds the straps. They suggest you can use that as mobile phone bag or something like that, and that's fair enough, but I don't see myself doing that like ever. Apart from that, it's really nice. They ship these straps directly with the bag in their own small stowaway baggie and don't sell them as some add-on like other companies do, and I really appreciate it. I won't be using the clips on the camera itself, but having a strap for a detachable camera compartment is great, plus the option to attach it directly to the backpack, which I most certainly won't use, but never say never, and it will surely make a better weight distribution than having the camera over the shoulder. I can see its use, but I'm just not sure I would use it. Maybe I'll update that in a future video once I spend a couple of months using the backpack. There are a few things with the camera compartment itself I'd like to mention though. Despite I really love the idea that it's being completely detachable, there are some negative points as well. And most importantly, it's smaller. We went from 21 by 9 by 22.3 centimeters to 18 by 10 by 23. And you might say, but it's actually thicker and goes a bit deeper. And yes, it does. However, those 3 centimeters on the width make a big difference. It might get a bit softer over time and the camera will push itself a bit further in when the fabric gets a little bit softer, which is the same that happened on my old one, and that's totally fine because it gives a bit more space in the end. But I'm thinking it's a lot closer now than on the old one, fitting a bigger lens and even an R6 in there, but you can see that on the screen right now, so make up your own mind. I usually carry 2 lenses and both of them fit with the R6, and I can make a 70-100 work as well, so it doesn't have a downside really for me. But on the other hand, I would have liked those 3 centimeters more. Another thing I'm liking a lot is the divider in the compartment itself. In the old design it was a grey divider which was open to the front. That has the advantage that accessing the other lens is fairly easy even with one hand, but then it could accidentally fall out. That never happened to me, it never came close and I never feared it would, but I get it could. Now the new design has a Velcro part on the front, so it attaches to the side of the compartment and can be fully closed in case you have something in there that's not a lens and more willing to fall out. That secures the lens or whatever you have in there a lot better. However, accessing it is also a bit more difficult as you have to undo the Velcro every time. But if you don't need that or it's in a way, you can easily fold the Velcro back and it's basically like the old design. Or pull it out and use one or both of the 2 supplied grey ones instead. I should also mention that they changed the SD card pockets, probably to support the removable flap better. On the old design these were little pockets that were not so easy to access, but fit a card with a plastic SD card holder, and due to the overlapping fabric it would just not fall out, no matter what. I never really actively use them, however I always have a backup SD card in there, just in case. Now the new design however only fits the SD card itself, which disqualifies that completely for me. And also it doesn't secure them, it has a fairly tight fit so the card wouldn't come flying out just so, but frankly I wouldn't trust that pocket for a second. I mean, they could have left that out or do it like in the old one where it was actually useful. So I gotta find a new place for my backup SD, and that's a great transition to the final part, the insides. Now, the first thing I noticed was the closing strap. It's completely usable with one hand. Doesn't sound like much, but once you tried it, you want it everywhere. The upper pocket is not semi-closed netted anymore and a little bit deeper. Also there's a little strap with attachment in it, so you could lock your keys on a SD card holder in there, so it cannot really get loose. Nice detail for sure. The old one didn't have that. Other than that, I don't prefer either solution, it's just nice, it's still in there. For flights I always use this pocket for printed out documents and all the stuff you want to have with you in case the digital stuff fails. It has a zipper on top so you can close it and don't lose anything. Additionally, there are now 2 netted pockets with an elastic strap on top. That's really nice for putting replacement batteries, loose SD cards, cables and stuff like that in there. I'll probably use one of those for my Pocket RGB LED panel. It really nicely fits in there like a glove. My filter holder fits in there nicely as well. Also, there's a new pocket in front that goes all the way down to the bottom of the backpack, passing in front of the camera compartment. I can imagine it will work fine for a smaller laptop, however I would rather have that closer to my back and not as exposed that it will be directly on the outside. As a side note here, my 13-inch MacBook Pro does not fit in there, so probably it's more iPad sized. But it fits nicely on the back, and the space from top to the bottom flap is just the perfect size for that 13-inch MacBook Pro. So you'll get it in there, and I'm sure you would fit a 15-inch as well, which I don't have here to test, so I cannot say for sure, but I'm rather confident it will. On the old design with the fixed camera compartment, it was also possible to stuff things around the compartment, which is probably near to impossible to capture on video, but I'll try anyways. However, with the divider that's now in there and can isolate the lower area from the upper area, well, to a certain extent it's still only velcroed in, it's great to have an option to put something larger in and still have the divider intact. The divider can be opened anytime, which allows you to stuff clothing or something around the camera compartment. That's the thing I always do when flying. I take a spare set of underwear, socks and a t-shirt in the hand luggage, just in case I strand somewhere or the luggage doesn't make it with me to my destination, which has both already happened to me and I was very glad I had that. But that's just a side note. So that was it for the majority. Let's quickly talk about the outside again, and then I'll let you know my conclusion about the new bag and if the old one still is a competitor and can hold up all these years after release. On the outside, they both feel rather similar. When I got my old one 4.5 years ago or so, I was a bit skeptical about the fabric LowePro uses for the outside. It felt rather thin and slippery. I had a fear it wouldn't hold up very long and rip. After all the time now, despite having traveled a lot until it got to a hold last year, being in remote places and doing a lot of hikes with it, plus taking the backpack as my EDC at home, if that description fits here. Most times I left the house, it still looks like new. Well, more or less, but it held up very well. The old one has also some sort of ripstop material. However, the new BP24 looks a bit more rough, if that makes sense. If that does anything for the durability, I cannot tell, I'm not a material expert, but given the old one held up so nicely, I'm sure this one will too. Regarding build quality overall, it's what you expect from LowePro. As for the details that didn't really fit in any category, I noticed the new design has elastic bands around nearly all straps, which is also something I like very much, as it allows you to tidy up your straps and stop them from flapping around all over the place. It's not a big deal either. I mean, if you need that, you can buy these things for no money in the internet or just use household rubber bands. But it's really nice it comes with those now, and in fitting colors. LowePro claims that 75% of the materials used to build these backpacks are recycled. It surely is a great development in these times, generally speaking. I appreciate they take the effort to consume less of our limited resources. What are my thoughts about the backpacks? The Photo Sport BP 300AW2, aka the old one, I used for years now, is still an amazing backpack and I wouldn't bother continue using it despite having the new Photo Sport BP 24LAW3. However, only if the new version would somehow be unusable. LowePro fixed all the downsides and disadvantages for me personally with the old version. They did it all. Plus adding a shizzle ton of additional features and neat little details like the water drain or the Velcro straps for attaching something to the backpack, or the little netted pockets inside, or the press strap lock, and so on and so forth. For me personally, that backpack is just the best camera backpack out there and I would buy it again if I lose it tomorrow. For me it's totally worth the €100 on top, or thereabouts, at least in Germany. I upgraded from the old version, so that would answer that question as well. However, you might see things differently or don't care about all their new designs and features. And don't get me wrong, the old one is still an amazing backpack and I would totally buy it again if money was so tight I had to save where I can or just don't care about stuff like the Detachable Camera Bag. For around €100 less than the new design right now, that's quite a bargain. Now my major downsides are definitely, again, the press strap attachments to the shoulder straps and mainly the size of the camera compartment. I cannot fit the DSLR with a long and a short very well like I could with the old version. And I guess there you have it, 3 centimeters matter. You might see things differently and that's totally fine. You gotta be happy with your equipment and only that way you will take it with you and actually go out taking pictures and videos. Let me know what you think in the comments below. What are your thoughts about a backpack, about this video? Do you know alternatives to the backpacks? Because I'm personally, frankly, locked in LowePro bags and wouldn't use something from another manufacturer without a reason. I have used and used their stuff for 20 years and it never felt on me even once. That means something to me, so I'm biased, but if you like to share alternatives, I'd love to check them out. I'm always looking for new gear that makes my life easier and makes it easier to carry my camera around every day. Alright, and that's all. You should have a clearer overview about both backpacks and if they're a thing for you or not, and now let's all get out shooting pictures and video instead of listening to some guy on the internet loving his new backpack. Cheers dudes and dudettes, I appreciate that you watched the video, commented, subscribed and liked. Bye bye.